parking lot at Target, and this is Travels with Tess, and I haven't posted it in a long time. So this channel is about travel in California and other places mainly, but I am also aware of all the stuff that's going on in our country right now, which is very depressing. So I might mention stuff there, but recently the stuff in the White House is not good. So there you go. But I'm here at charging my electric car, and I hope you enjoy this recording. It's me in Fresno walking with my brother. It's me at the beach in Santa Cruz. It's the Clam Chowder Festival. That's about it. So I hope you like this recording. Please like and subscribe. And that's it. So I'm talking to myself in my car, but I'm getting two things done at once. I'm waiting for a shopping order, and I'm charging my car at the same time. Okay, have a great day. Bye. El estacionamiento de Target. Y esta grabación, esto es Viajes con Tess, y no lo he publicado en mucho tiempo. En California y otros lugares principalmente, pero también estoy al tanto de todas las cosas que están pasando en nuestro país en este momento, lo cual es muy deprimente. Así que podría mencionar cosas allí, pero recientemente las cosas en la Casa Blanca no son buenas. Así que ahí lo tienes. Y estoy aquí en Tirogen Electrical y espero que hayas disfrutado de esta grabación. Soy yo en Fresno caminando junto a mi hermano. Soy yo en la playa de Santa Cruz. Es el Festival de la Nube y la charla. Así que espero que os guste esta grabación. Por favor, dale me gusta y suscríbete. Y eso es todo. Así que estoy hablando conmigo mismo en mi coche, pero estoy haciendo dos cosas a la vez. Estoy esperando un pedido de compra y estoy cargando mi coche al mismo tiempo. Bien, que tengas un gran día. Parkeringspladsen ved Torvet og denne optagelse. Dette er Travels with Tess, og jeg har ikke postet den i lang tid. I Californien og andre steder hovedsageligt. Men jeg er også opmærksom på alle de ting, der foregår i vores land lige nu, hvilket er meget deprimerende. Så jeg kan nævne ting der. Men for nylig er tingene i Det Hvide Hus ikke gode. Så der går du. Og jeg er her på Tyrogen Electrical, og jeg håber, at du nød denne indspilning. Det er mig i Fresno, der går sammen med min bror. Det er mig på stranden i Santa Cruz. Det er Clud and Chatter Festival. Så jeg håber, at du kan lide denne indspilning. Synes godt om at abonnere. Og det er det. Så jeg taler med mig selv i min bil, men jeg får to ting gjort på én gang. Jeg venter på en indkøbsordre, og jeg oplader min bil på samme tid. Okay, have en god dag. So you see that I use the AI to do voiceover in two different languages, in Spanish and then Danish. I also use Adobe Firefly to generate a dream that I had when I was a child. It's not quite like my dream. I'd have to probably tweak it a little bit more. But it was basically me walking through a neighborhood with these giant huge bubbles around me, but it really didn't look like bubbles. It would look like some. This is also another dream where I was floating through space, and it had colors that were not known to me. They were like jewel-like colors in space. It was very strange. I tried to generate it in Adobe Firefly. I went through a couple different prompts, and this one more, kind of looks more like it was more like veins of like lava, but also jewel-like. So it's kind of interesting to try to work with AI and generate things that you see. I'm trying to do a little bit more of my surreal dreams that I've had in the past. So anyway, just another additional thing.
What are you doing?
I'm filming the flag.
We've sung in front of banks protesting.
Well, yeah, and Patty has more information to tell us about the history of Fresno gaggle.
good.
But
Okay.
there are grannies, groups of grannies call themselves gaggles. And we have gaggles in North Carolina and New York.
They're very active in North Carolina. In fact, I think, how many times has Vicki Ryder been to jail? So.
And written about it for us.
Yeah.
And written about it, yes.
They're called gaggles. We consider, Raging Grannies consider themselves a disorganization that meets every, in pre-COVID times, we met every couple of years for an unconvention.
Yes. And we can find Raging Grannies, raginggrannies.org, if you want to look it up on the internet. And if you want to become a Raging Grannies, you're entitled to see all the granny songs and share them with all the other grannies. And become part of the E-Vine, the Granny E-Vine, where grannies express themselves and what they really object to and what they really want to protest. And they write songs and share it with other grannies. It's really fun. It really is inspiring sometimes to hear what these other grannies have to say. Thanks, Kay, for starting it for us.
Well, do you have some questions?
About international grannies.
Can I add my PS, what I know about it?
Sure.
So I Googled it at the library, and they had two Raging Grannies, a DVD, which I still have at my home, and if you want to request that. But it's not about the singing grannies. These two ladies are just like pissed off that this is what's happening in our government, about the gross, the political, just spending and spending and spending it with, like, there's infinite oil, we've got to spend it all. So that's what those two grannies are about. And then there's a Jesse Morrow CD on there, and it's a song that we sang for Jesse Morrow Mountain. So that's what I know.
CD, a whole bunch of songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I should mention that we will be taking on CMEX for their proposal to blast a 600-foot deep hole in the San Joaquin River. The major damage, by the way, is considered to be scenic, as if that scenery were nothing. I mean, because Fresno, of course, is the home of fantastic scenery. So if we lose a river, what the heck? Nobody really knows what the effect would be, except CMEX, the company, will get richer. And because it's an international company, the money won't even stay in Fresno, which I think is important. So we'll be sending out messages and getting you to write to your supervisor. We have until March the 10th, and they may move that.
Thanks, Kay. Patty, you want to
Okay.
tell us about
I will
Fresno
tell you
Granny?
about the launching of the Fresno Grannies. Marilyn no longer lives in Fresno, but she's still, I forget where she lives now. But anyway, she went to, a WILP, some WILP event in San Francisco in 2005 and heard a Bay Area group of Raging Grannies and brought the idea back to Fresno. And I got involved in it because, let's see, my son Max was performing at the brewing company in downtown, and along with Eva Scow and Patrick Contreras, and Pat Wolk was there. And I told her that at the time I was singing with Sweet Adelines, and I loved the singing, but I was getting really, this is 2005, remember, it might have even been 2004, I think, because I believe it was during the second election of W, and I was really distressed with some of the things I was hearing from my fellow singers, and Pat said, I know what you need, and she invited me to the very first meeting of the Raging Grannies. It was at Ellie Bluestein's house. I didn't know anybody there except Pat, and I found people, I was very intimidated because I'd always heard of Ellie, and I thought, you know, how do I live up to these social justice warriors? But Ellie became one of my very, very, very dearest friends of all time. So that was, I don't remember who else was there. I know Pat and Ellie were there, and I don't remember who else was there to begin with. Pre-Jean, our wonderful keyboard player, we had Lynn Ross, who played the auto harp to accompany us in a lot of our early gigs. And I made a whole list of, you know, all the different issues that we've sung for over the years, but you can imagine what they are, you know, all the things of local and national importance. I think it's important to say that we have sung a lot of songs protesting a lot of things that are going on, but our repertoire also includes what we envision as the world that we want to live in. So we have songs of peace, we have songs of social justice. I think that all of us need to hold that in the forefront of our minds. It's all well and good to point out everything that's wrong, but we also need to know what we're aiming for here, what we envision.
That gives us support.
Yeah.
That positive thing keeps us going, right?
Absolutely. So our repertoire includes songs of peace, social justice, the environment, healthcare, all the things that our government is doing, you know, things, and as other people have said, there are grannies all over the country, and in fact, further abroad, mostly, I think all English-speaking countries, who are writing songs in response, writing lyrics. They always are familiar tunes, so they're easy for us to learn, but they're writing new lyrics for a lot of familiar tunes. We have a whole lot of songs to the tune of the Battle Hymn of the Republic. We have to be careful we don't do too many of them in one setting.
Yeah, let me mention that when Ellie was still pretty much running things and I joined and she found out I could write, I tend to write song lyrics. And so she'd say, you know, we need a song for whatever, blah, blah, blah. And about 3 minutes later, she'd say, well, did you finish it?
And if you didn't know, Ellie, you have to know that you don't say no to anything. It's just a fact of life. So